Despite concerns over President Trump's tariffs, and that had stocks higher today with the Dow up 483 points. This is ABC News.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
You're listening to WTOP.
WTOP News.
News happens here.
It's 9:53, continuing coverage of the Trump administration's federal takeover of law enforcement in D.C., including federalizing the D.C. police force and putting National Guard members out on the streets. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
As you're seeing from last night's numbers, we already have seen success. We are removing violent offenders, we are arresting criminals, and we are removing drugs and firearms off of the streets of the city to make it safer for all of its residents.
She says more than 20 people were arrested last night for various charges. D.C.'s Attorney General is weighing in, saying he is closely watching what's happening here with the federal takeover. He talked about it with WTOP's Scott Gelman.
Running into court is not the first thing that we think about doing.
Brian Schwab is D.C.'s Attorney General.
In the event we have to seek judicial relief from a court, we will do so. But the most important thing to do is to try to see that the laws are complied with.
He says the Home Rule Act can be invoked for a special emergency and is for a limited purpose.
It must be for federal purpose, not local policing purposes. And under no circumstances does it call for a takeover of MPD.
Specifically, he's watching to see if Police Chief Pamela Smith remains in control and command of the police department. Meanwhile, he isn't expecting his relationship with the U.S. Attorney's Office to change.
It requires the U.S. Attorney to be committed to partnership with the District of Columbia, and I see no reason to expect that the U.S. Attorney's Office won't continue to do what we've been doing together for many years.
Scott Gelman, WTOP News.
Federal IT leaders. Skyrocketing vendor operations and maintenance costs are holding you back from modernizing. Self-funded modernization flips the script. Partner with Merlin Cyber and Rimini Street to cut support costs by up to 90% and break free from vendor lock-in. Take a cost-neutral approach to reinvest savings in IT transformation without new funding. Get 24/7 US-based support tailored to your mission. Support, optimize, innovate. Visit merlincyber.com/SFM.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. Like deals on your late night go-tos when the party goes till dawn. And savings on their faves. So date night always passes the vibe check. Plus, when the fam shows up for the weekend, you can show out for breakfast.
Buy one breakfast sandwich, add one for $1. Only in the app. Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Must opt into rewards. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Sports on WTOP, powered by Maximus, moving people and technology forward. Over to Frank Hanrahan.
All right, Nationals, again, same predicament as last night. They trail at Kansas City 8-4. They lost last night 7-4. Right now 8-4 in the top of the eighth. They do have a runner at second, one down. See if they can plate some runs and make it interesting here. James Wood earlier, RBI double. C.J. Abrams with an RBI single as well. Mitchell Parker gave up a 3-run homer in the third inning. If this holds up, he would take the loss. Baltimore falls to Seattle 1-0 at Oriole Park. Frank Hanrahan, WTOP Sports.
Dad's doctor says it's time to focus on quality of life and comfort. I'm not sure where to start.
I'm glad you called, Jessa. We can help.
When you reach out to Jessa, our hospice nurse will meet you at home for an assessment that's completely covered by Medicare to create a comprehensive care plan so you can truly be present in the moments you and your loved ones share. Medicare and most insurances cover hospice 100%. Contact Jessa at jssa.org. Proudly serving Montgomery County.
Willie is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Canella,
Ella, 2 days old. She had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx saved me a lot of money. Saved me that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit.
All right. We're at the Navy Yard. Local news suggests that there's a National Guard in this area, which is weird because the area is gentrified and has a very, very low crime rate. But that's okay. The National Guard can't really do anything about crime. So we're here to check it out. Hey, dickhead. What a fuckstick. Well, I see nothing's changed in bad driving. All right, we're about 2/3 past the Navy Yard. I've seen increased MPD, but no National Guard. All right, we're at the end of the Navy Yard. think we're near Department of Transportation. Definitely larger than normal Metro Police presence. No National Guard that I can see yet. And they're definitely not enforcing traffic laws. Alright. Metro Police parked in front of a transportation department. Alright, to my right is a corner of the Navy Yard, and kitty corner to the left, it looks like some blue and red lights. No right turn, and of course blocking the there's no legal way out of here. Okay, I'm gonna do a U-turn. Might get a ticket for a U-turn, I don't know. We will see. Alright, that was FBI doing a little foot patrol. Once again, there's almost no crime in this area, it's gentrified. DEA. Basically at an entrance to the actual Navy Yard and in front of the Department of Transportation. Still no National Guard. I only saw one guy with a face mask on. It's 83 degrees. Allegedly, in Washington, D.C., it's illegal for law enforcement to use face masks. We just saw one. The first one I've seen since all this face mask shit started in other parts of the country. All right, I don't know if you can see it on the dash cam. Up ahead is the Capitol Dome. I think somewhere to my right is the Marine Corps barracks. Let me see if I'm in the right place. Courtyard by Marriott. Some kind of uniform, I couldn't make out what department. On the right there. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry to bother you. Have you seen any National Guard? What? Have you seen any National Guard? No. Okay. All right. Thank you. I may be wrong about the location of the Marine Corps barracks. It's like right near the Navy Yard. I think on this side of the street. By the way, 10 o'clock at night and a couple out, skinny couple out walking a dog, skinny white couple. So yeah, that's how scary this neighborhood is now. Now, when I first moved to this area, it was scary. But that's just a demonstration explanation of how things have improved. Okay, what's this up here? Okay. Just people out for a walk after some fast food pickup? Pardon? I can't hear you. Okay, you too. Not sure. Okay, here's the Marine Barracks. On the other side of the fence to my right, in fact, I'll hold up the other dash cam. This is where they trained for the Honor Guard. The Marine version of the was it 1st Regiment? The Army does Honor Guard too. I don't know what that lady was saying, but again, people walking out at 10 o'clock at night, no worries about crime, because crime's not really that big of an issue here. I'd much rather walk around here than the Bronx or Brooklyn, Queens. Oh, fuck no, I wouldn't walk around Queens this time of night by myself. So far I'm seeing increased police presence, not just MPD, but we saw FBI, DEA, and another unidentified. Haven't seen any National Guard yet. Let's head back up towards the area where there's a Harris Teeter there. Yeah, we know Harris Teeter builds in high crime areas, right? That was sarcasm. Since I don't believe the National Guard has a real mission except for showing their presence, I'm going to go up and around Capitol Hill, because that's where people might look, just so they can see the soldiers walking around or standing posts. I find it weird that they reported on WTOP that there are National Guard at the Navy Yard. I mean, the Navy Yard's got Marines and Masters at Arms and got a multi-stop. Yeah, it's a multi-stop. All right. Four-way. All right. More people out and about, not afraid of crime. And more people out and about, not afraid of crime. Two ladies, no manly escort. Dude walking out by himself. Does that seem like a high crime area? Alright, dash cam reference. Looks like we're just a couple blocks from Capitol Hill. I think we're on Constitution in Pennsylvania. A lot of government buildings there. We'll see if see any National Guard there. I bet either A, we won't see it here on the 12th of August at 10:17 p.m. or B, we will see them and they won't be doing anything except for being seen. That was a good healthy Finkel burp. I'm going to guess that barrier up ahead with the red light is the entrance to Capitol Hill, which is apparently sealed off. All right, I wonder if I can turn left, right, or U-turn. Boy, that looks very majestic at night. I can orientate myself. Yes, okay, I'm right. Oh, no, turn on red. All right. Da, da, da. See, I guess I'm coming from the south, so that would make, instead of guessing, why don't we drive around and see if we can orientate myself. Yes, that's the House office building. I forget the name. That's the one where Marjorie Taylor Greene's office is in. And that larger structure there is part of the Library of Congress. And this is First Street. On the right side is the Republican National Convention and the Capitol Hill Club. Part of the Library of Congress. There's actually several buildings to it. I think we're coming up on, shoot, is it Constitution or Pennsylvania? It is Independence, my bad. Independence. I believe I can make a left on Independence and come over onto either Constitution or Pennsylvania. To the right of the dash cam, just out of sight, is the 301 Independence Avenue southeast, where the Mark Meadows gang hangs out. Formerly Stephen Miller, who's now got an office at the White House. All right. We are now on Capitol Hill. And body cam, that is another Library of Congress building, and just out of sight is the Supreme Court. Dash cam, no signs of National Guard. Dash body cam, that is the Dome, Capitol Hill, the main building, of course. See blue and red ahead. We're on Independence Avenue now. And those look like Capitol Police, okay. I'm going to turn right on First Street and try to go down Constitution or Pennsylvania and come back the other, see if we see National Guard. Dash and body, United States Botanic Garden. Pretty cool place to visit. All right. Making my turn on First. Oh, no, blocked off. Okay. Returning to Independence. Might take another block or two. All right. Looks like traffic's being forced this way. All right. Stop here on red. Okay. Yeah, to the left of the dash cam is Capitol Police. And a bunch of uniforms on bicycles and standing around. Green light. That's not how you do it, but okay. Alright, couldn't make out the agency. The police way over on the other side of the road were telling me to go ahead, but if you're going to control traffic, you need to be at the lane that you're going to control traffic from. See if I can come up on the... Was that 4th Street? Okay. See if we can get on Constitution or Pennsylvania. Alright. Yeah, when you have a red light or a green light, but you have a traffic cop directing you, the traffic cop overrules the lighting system. However, said traffic cop has to be at the lane that he's guiding. That guy was like 3 lanes over, so whatever. I went when it was green. Fuck him. National Mall, body cam is looking very dark. Right. Green light. Body cam, Canadian Embassy, looking a little dark. Okay, if I stay straight, that's Pennsylvania. If I turn left, that's Constitution. I'm going to go up Pennsylvania and come back on Constitution. I want to eventually get back to the Navy Yard. Body cam, more people out and about, not afraid of crime. Now, riddle me this: if crime is so bad in D.C., it's 10:25. Why are there so many people out and about, walking around, taking pictures? Body cam, a couple more right there. Another. I'm not afraid of no crime. Some more. Again, the time is 10:25. PM. Body cam to my left used to be the Department of Justice, now it's the Department of Dipshittery. Body cam to my right, the FBI building, J. Edgar Hoover. Crash Patel works there, if you call what he does work. Body cam left side, that is the postal building. It's been taken over by, well, originally it was taken over by the Trump Hotel Company. Now another hotel owns it, or leases it. Oh. Looks like there's a fender bender of some sort. Green light, I gotta go. I would be interested in seeing what's going on here, but... Alright, dash cam up ahead is the west entrance to the White House. And to my left of the dash cam is lots of other federal buildings. Still no sign of National Guard. Alright, actually it's a dual purpose entrance. You can go to the White House that way or to Department of Finance, which is right next door to the White House on the west side. On the east side it's the old executive office building. We're going to turn left here and go to Constitution. I think you get a glimpse of the Washington Monument if you care about that stuff. And body cam. More people out on bicycles, having a good old time. Again, not concerned about crime at all. Oh, another Finkel burp. It was a good dinner, sorry. That might have been Hell's Angels there, I don't know. Some bike gang. Hey. Alright. And dash cam, there's the Washington Monument. Body cam, this is Department of Commerce, where that fucking moron is running the show, who thinks his mother-in-law wouldn't notice if her Social Security check stops. Well, yeah, he's a multi-millionaire. I'm sure she doesn't care about her Social Security check. But how many mother-in-laws have a son-in-law who's a multi-millionaire? Oh, I can't turn left here. Maybe I can do this. Nope, bus only. That's one way. All right. I know how to do. I have to go past the tidal basin to get back on the Constitution. Or can I turn right here? Yeah, I can turn right here. No, I can't. Off on the right of my dash cam is the Jefferson Memorial. I'm going to try and go around the tidal basin and come back on the Constitution that way. Oh, okay. Yeah, I may have screwed that up. Body cam footage, beautiful scenery. Another body cam shot, I think, kind of, sort of. Washington Monument. Road closed. Uh-oh. Is there a way out of the road closed? Body cam footage. Nice big moon. What road is this? Ladies and gentlemen, Finkel's kind of lost. I mean, I can see the big landmarks, but I'm not really sure what roads to take to stop here on red. It's also a crosswalk. People look like they want to cross. Nope. Okay. Body cam, Jefferson Memorial. And going to swing over to the Washington Monument. Memorial. Yeah. And back to Jefferson. And now I'm going to put both hands on the wheel. I just did some kind of goofy circle that I really don't understand. But I think I can get to Constitution now. I'm back on Independence. Romeo. Oh, no left turn except for buses. Well, fuck you, DC. I just want to drive from A to B. And you're in the damn way of all these damn traffic signs. I really do want to drive down Constitution. They're making it hard on me. Let's see what the news has got to say.
Trafficking, repeat offenses, so we can actually increase the severity of federal charges and create longer sentences for those convicted.
That's CBS's Nicole Skanga. The framework of
All right, moving again. Our taxi just took a left turn, so that means I can take a left turn, right? I'm going to turn left. All right. Ah, yes, just to take it back to Constitution. Whew. I was going to be trying this all night. And this is Constitution. I wanted to be further to the west, but yeah, I'm not going to fight that anymore. No turn on red. All right.
Cases in 2009 to more than 22,000 last year. 3 out of 4 involved children or teens. We talked about it with Danielle Ivory, investigative reporter for the New York Times.
I think that association seems to be there with widespread legalization, commercialization, and also just more acceptance, normalization of cannabis. We've seen an increase in what are called cannabis exposures. So those are people who have been exposed to cannabis in some way and have called poison control. And then, you had mentioned that last year there were more than 22,000 exposures, and of those, more than 13,000 were deemed to be poisonings, which means that there were documented negative effects, and more than 75% of those involved children and teenagers.
When you talk about negative effects, negative symptoms, going into poison control centers, just how serious can a case like that get for a young person especially?
Right, so, most cannabis exposure cases aren't severe according to data from poison control, but a growing number of these have led to life-threatening consequences, and that can include things like seizures or breathing problems. And last year, for example, more than 100 of these cases required ventilators. This can be extremely dangerous for especially children because they tend to weigh less than adults and don't require a really large dose of THC to get very sick. Doctors...
All right, that was the National Mall area. No National Guard there. Let's go back to the Navy Yard. I can find my way back there.
The cannabis industry, which is obviously expanding pretty rapidly. Is there anything the industry is being told to do in order to put safeguards in place, maybe help curb some of this stuff?
Well, what we've heard from doctors and health officials and poison control experts are a number of recommendations. Some poison control experts told me
Imler's in the WTOP Traffic Center.
The Beltway in Virginia inner loop.
Body cam. Something's going on over there. We're going to check that out. We're going towards the White House? I don't know. Alright, this is, I forget the name of the street, but to my left is the National Mall, grassy area. No turn on red. Goddamn red lights. Wherever that convoy is going, they're probably long gone by now. Jeez, oh, come on.
Ahead of America's 250th anniversary next year, a White House source confirming the Trump administration plans to conduct a review of the Smithsonian's exhibitions to ensure they align with Trump's view of American history. This is ABC News.
It's summertime. The days are hot and large big
All right, they went
golf
right.
carts are only $1 at 7-Eleven. That's why everyone's rolling up. Get $1 large big golf drinks at 7-Eleven with 7 rewards. Valid rate 16.5 the applicable terms.
No turn on red from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's after 7 p.m. I'm turning red, all right.
Now offering 25% off. Terms and conditions apply. Go to longfence.com for a free estimate today.
This is WTOP.
News happens here.
10:52, a toddler is fighting for his life after falling from a 6th-floor balcony in Prince George's County.
Damn.
He tumbled from an apartment on Cherry Hill Road in College Park. It is not known how the child fell. We're also awaiting an update on the condition of that toddler. It's 10:53. To our continuing coverage of the Trump administration's federal takeover of D.C.'s police force, the Attorney General of D.C. tells us that filing a lawsuit isn't his first choice, but he is watching closely to see what this whole federal change means for the city moving forward and what his options are.
All right. Some kind of activity up ahead. Lots of blue and red lights. Let's see if we can see what that's all about. Body cam. Oh, they pulled over a DoorDash guy. Okay. Criminal DoorDashing. Probably tax evasion.
The loss. Nats will try to avoid the sweep tomorrow afternoon against the Kansas City Royals. Baltimore falls to Seattle 1-0 at Oriole Park. You know, when you Venmo somebody and you give a little reason as to why you paid somebody, well, that could be getting Oklahoma starting quarterback John McTeer in hot water after screenshots of past references to sports gambling on his Venmo account surfaced online. But he denied ever being involved with gambling, saying it was just an inside joke with his friends. Frank Hanrahan, WTOP Sports.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
Beat the fall rush and replace those cheap vinyl windows now. 2 weeks only. Radio exclusive offer, $250 off every fiberglass window. Have your questions answered by thewindowman.com's experienced team of design consultants. Thewindowman.com is the educational window company. They educate, you decide. And now save $250 off every fiberglass window at thewindowman.com. Visit their industry-leading Fairfax showroom. Click thewindowman.com to save. Infinity replacement windows only. Minimums and installation required.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
This is WTOP News. WTOP FM Washington. WWWTFM Manassas. WTLP FM Braddock Heights Frederick.
Back over to Bob Imler in the traffic center.
Well, southbound on 95, it is now a stationary work zone. Mostly road work is what we're following at this hour. So now you're getting by a single file to the right at Stafford on 95 South. Interloop getting by a single file to the right after the Dulles Toll Road. And in Maryland on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, traffic being diverted at Route 32 for bridge work. Southbound right lane gets by at 175. WTOP Traffic Center presented by Window Nation. Right now, get 50% off all window styles. No interest until 2027 at windownation.com. I'm Bob Inler. Next traffic report coming up in about 10 minutes.
Moving through the evening and into the overnight, any lingering showers will draw to a close. Could be looking at some patchy fog by early tomorrow morning. Wake-up temperatures will be mainly in the 70s inside and close to the Capital Beltway. A little bit cooler off to the north and west. Clouds will win over sunshine for the day tomorrow with showers and storms during the afternoon and evening. Now, we're not looking at widespread severe, but could find some gusty winds, some brief pockets of moderate to heavy rain. Temperature will be on the hot side. We'll stay hot and humid on Thursday with shower and storm chances once again. We're in the upper 80s to lower 90s. The best news of all come Friday and into the upcoming weekend. We're trending dry. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rubin with First Alert Weather Center.
You're listening to WTOP.
News happens here.
Good evening, I'm Nick Iannelli. Coming up, continuing coverage of the Trump administration's takeover of D.C.'s police force. There were 23 arrests last night as part of the Trump administration's initiative in the district. Tonight, we've learned that National Guard members have started to make their presence visible in portions of the city.
Congressional Republicans get behind the president's crackdown on D.C. crime, preparing action of their own. I'm Mitchell Miller, today on the Hill.
The White House reportedly will scrutinize Smithsonian Museum exhibits. We'll talk about it with the Washington Post at 11:15. It is 11 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A senior White House official tells CBS News Friday's meeting between Presidents Trump and Putin will take place at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt adds,
the goal of this meeting for the president is to walk away with a better understanding of how we can end this war.
Some European Union countries have reservations about Friday's meeting. CBS's Olivia Gozes.
There is a palpable concern across European capitals that what may happen in Alaska is that the U.S. and Russia arrive at some sort of a deal that they treat as a fait accompli, saying it's a good deal, and then accusing the Europeans and Ukrainians of standing in the way of peace.
President Trump will speak with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European allies virtually tomorrow. This, as CBS's Chris Livesay reports.
Well, tonight in eastern Ukraine, Russian forces have punched through Ukrainian lines in one of their deepest offensives in a year. As deep as 10 miles in some areas.
The White House orders a review of select Smithsonian museums ahead of the nation's 250th birthday next year. A letter to the head of the Smithsonian says that the administration insists on ensuring that our national museums reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American history. The Smithsonian says its work is grounded in a deep commitment to scholarly excellence, rigorous research, and the accurate factual presentation of history, and it is reviewing the letter with that in mind. President Trump is taking a new look at reclassifying marijuana as a less dangerous drug. CBS's Nicole Skager.
It wouldn't legalize weed, but it would make it easier for scientists to study the drug's therapeutic uses and reduce criminal penalties for those convicted of marijuana violations, plus start aligning federally with that of a very long list of states.
It's still not known what caused an explosion at a western Pennsylvania steel plant yesterday that killed 2 people and injured at least 10. U.S. Steel CEO Dave Burritt.
We have suffered heartbreaking losses.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
It's going to take a team effort to rebuild here. It's going to take a team effort to lift this community back up. It's going to require the prayers of this Commonwealth, the great work of our county executive, and it's going to require a commitment from U.S. Steel to see this through.
A freight train derailment in Texas, CBS's Matt Piper.
The derailment, officials say, involves 35 train cars of a Union Pacific train. It derailed in the small town of Palo Pinto, about 2 hours west of Dallas. Images show multiple train cars piled on top of one another on the track, and smoke can be seen. No injuries have been reported, and no evacuations have been ordered. Union Pacific says cleanup efforts are already underway.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's 11:03 on Tuesday, August 12th, 81 degrees. Patchy fog tonight, lows in the 70s. Tomorrow, a chance for storms with highs in the 90s. Good evening, I'm Nick Iannelli. The top stories we're following this hour. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser will work closely together after President Trump signed the order that federalizes the city's police force for at least 30 days. Bondi said the two met today at the Justice Department and agreed that nothing is more important than keeping residents and tourists safe. WTOP's Valerie Bonk.
It's going to be an effort that's supported by both teams, the Metropolitan Police Department, as well as our federal partners.
D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith said the meeting was about coming up with a plan on how to incorporate the new resources.
What we've done at this point is we have provided the team, the administrator, with a strategic plan on how we will provide resources around our city.
National Guard members were seen in D.C. on Tuesday. President Trump said there will be a total of 800 coming to the district for his 30-day effort to cut down on crime. Mayor Muriel Bowser said there's been a drastic decrease in crime over the last 2 years. She said she's focusing on how best to use the extra officers and federal help.
We have the best in the business and MPD and Chief Pamela Smith to lead that effort and to make sure that the men and women who are coming from federal law enforcement are being well used, and that if there's National Guard here, that they're being well used.
Valerie Ball, WTOP News.
WTOP's Kyle Cooper was out in the Navy Yard area, and he saw a National Guard presence as hundreds of National Guard members hit the streets to patrol as part of the Trump administration's crime crackdown in the district.
They look like soldiers, obviously. They don't look like police officers because they're wearing the fatigues and they're driving around in those sand-colored Humvees, and they're in a big caravan, at least 5 that we saw earlier. We also saw some DEA agents out here as well. So a distinction between those kinds of police officers and the National Guard, but they're all out here tonight.
What's the general reaction from the public?
Yeah, I talked to 3 different people down here tonight, and all 3 of them did not have a good reaction to it, I think is fair to say. Some were just like, they heard that it might happen, and they've been kind of looking around. They were out, a couple of people out for runs tonight. It's a nice night for that. And they would stop with their phone out and take pictures, and then I would go up and say, hey, just want to talk to you. How do you feel about this tonight? And none of them said they felt great about it. They thought it was strange. One man telling me that it felt like to him, like the military parade that we had here earlier this summer.
On Capitol Hill, Republicans are standing with President Trump in his federal takeover of the D.C. Police Department. WTOP's Mitchell Miller today on the Hill.
The House Oversight Committee wants to hear from Mayor Muriel Bowser in the coming weeks about how the crime fighting is progressing. And the committee's GOP leaders say they want to press ahead with a bill sponsored by Florida Republican Byron Donalds that would prohibit individuals as old as 24 from getting D.C. youth offender status during the sentencing process. Donalds has long charged that the district is soft on crime.
The progressive policies of the District of Columbia City Council are simply not working.
Democrats, meanwhile, are sponsoring a bill that would prevent the president from taking over the D.C. Police Department and give the mayor authority over the D.C. National Guard. On Capitol Hill, Mitchell Miller, WTOP News.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore was on CNN tonight commenting on President Trump's deployment of the National Guard in D.C. and whether that same thing could possibly happen in Baltimore.
I will not authorize the usage of Maryland National Guard forces for missions that I do not deem to be either mission critical or mission aligned. And what we are seeing right now, this distraction, distracting away from the fact that Donald Trump's policies have caused unemployment to go up, have caused people to lose their health care, has caused children to be able to lose their food benefits, and he's now using this as a tool. He's using military personnel, these citizen soldiers, as a cudgel and as a tool to be able to advance his political purposes.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore responding to President Trump's comments earlier in the week that Baltimore's crime is, quote, so far gone. WTOP News Time is 11:07. Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares is now asking Virginia's Supreme Court to lift a judge's order that blocks 8 of Governor Glenn Youngkin's appointees from serving on boards at 3 public universities. A Fairfax County judge last month had sided with Senate Democrats who argued that the appointees kept serving without getting confirmed properly from the General Assembly. The Virginia Mercury reports that Miyares is now arguing that that injunction disrupts the status quo, forcing school leaders to bar members who have already been serving for months. The case involves leaders at George Mason University, the University of Virginia, and the Virginia Military Institute. No court date has been set yet as the state Supreme Court decides whether or not it's going to take up the case. It's 11:08.
Get a precision AC tune-up for only $69.
Traffic and weather together on WTOP. Robert Workman is in the traffic center.
Double-leg construction, inner loop as you come up through Tyson's, going past the Bella Soul Route, two left lanes tied up.
Body cam, federal building, no light on the flag. No light on the flag.
Just yet. I've got the spidey sense on those. You hit South of River Road. Be careful through there. Right now, everything looks okay. South on 270, lanes are open from Gaithersburg to the lane divide. Beltway in Prince George's County. Some road work on the inner loop and the service roadway at Route 1. No access to go north on Route 1 overnight. Also, the right through lane is barreled off through there. Up ahead on the inner loop south of Route 50 down towards Central Avenue, you're going to lose the two right lanes in the work zone. Outer loop looks okay as you come up from the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. They're doing some ramp work at Branch Avenue with various lanes and ramps blocked there, but your through lane should be open there on 495 in each direction. The WTOP newsroom is furnished by Regency Furniture. Regency Furniture has every look in every style for any room and any budget. Affordable never looked so good. Regency Furniture, home starts here. I'm Robert Workman. Your next traffic report in 10 minutes.
Hot temperatures are back again tomorrow, along with a chance for a few thunderstorms during the afternoon and evening. Some of those storms may contain brief gusty winds and heavy downpours. Highs will be around 90 to 95 degrees with heat index values closer to 100 degrees. Almost a repeat performance for the day on Thursday. Partly cloudy, chance for a few showers and storms, highs in the lower 90s. Friday, we're dry and we're trending dry for the weekend, not only for the metro area, but for the Delmarva beaches. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
76 degrees in Manassas, 78 in Frederick, Maryland, 81 outside of our studios. Brought to you by Long Fence. Save 25% on decks, pavers, and fences. 6 months, no payment, no interest. Conditions apply. Go to longfence.com. Money news on WTOP.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The AI startup Perplexity is swinging for the fences. It's offering $34.5 billion to acquire Google's
Department of Justice, Pam Bundy.
The company's only worth about
American flag at 11:10 p.m.
Alphabet,
No lights.
Is awaiting a judge's decision on whether it has
Get
to
your
sell
shit
Chrome
together,
because
Bundy.
of its alleged monopoly on web searches. Record highs today for the NASDAQ and the S&P after a tame July inflation report is fueling bets that the Fed will cut interest rates at its meeting in September. With gains of over 1% for all the major averages, the Dow today rose 484, the NASDAQ up 297, the S&P added 72. To Department of Homeland Security.
WTOP News helps you keep things straight.
Delivering the facts.
WTOP News. Watch, read, listen.
It's 11:11. I'm Nick Iannelli. Thanks for being with us. The White House is launching a more sweeping review of the Smithsonian Institution ahead of America's 250th birthday next year. Part of President Trump's push to, in his words, restore truth and sanity to American history. In a letter to the Smithsonian Secretary, senior White House officials outlined plans to examine exhibits, collections, curatorial guidelines, and online content across 8 of the Smithsonian's most prominent museums. The Smithsonian itself had already started its own internal review earlier this summer under pressure from the president. We talked more about it with Washington Post reporter Janae Kingsbury.
This is kind of the first time that the Trump administration has really detailed steps to scrutinize the Smithsonian Institution, and this is all part of a larger ongoing effort by President Trump to restore quote-unquote truth and sanity to American history. And so what they released today was a letter that was sent to Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Bunch that outlined some key information that they plan to review, as well as some materials that they want the Smithsonian museums to send to the White House. A few things that the White House is looking at are the public-facing content. So this is all of the text that is displayed across the museums, whether that's on the website or on the actual display cases in the museums. They will also be looking at exhibition planning.
No fear of being out at 11, 12 p.m.
Future exhibitions. They want to know about the curatorial process. So this will be interviews with curators to get a better understanding of the selection process. And they're also looking at the development of curatorial guidelines in terms of how much they're in line with Smithsonian's original mission. The Smithsonian has also been asked to turn over a lot of information. So this includes their programming for the 250th anniversary of America's founding. They're being asked to turn over information about current exhibitions as well as traveling and upcoming exhibitions. And the White House also wants the Smithsonian to give them information about internal guidelines and governance, documentation about the chain of command, for instance. And they're looking for a lot of this to be submitted within 30 days. And then within 75 days, there's more information that's due. But the plan is that within 120 days from now, the museums should have started implementing some of these changes and making whatever content corrections the White House deemed necessary.
Just the end goal and the objective.
Unclear what the guidelines or the standards are for this. It does relate to an executive order that President Trump signed in March where he called for the Smithsonian to remove divisive ideology and anti-American ideology from its museums. And so that can kind of become a very subjective thing about what is considered divisive or anti-American. There hasn't been a lot of clarity there on what the vision is and what sort of way that President Trump wants to reshape this concept landscape. And it also contradicts an earlier directive from the Smithsonian to kind of put this content review in the hands of the secretary who leads the Smithsonian, Secretary Bunch. So it's unclear how these two will interact with each other. If the internal content review they're doing is going to be superseded by President Trump's, or if they're both kind of working hand in hand. What I'm really looking at is how the Smithsonian responds to this letter. This is definitely one of the more aggressive moves we've seen this administration make toward the Smithsonian. It seems that they're trying to exert more control after the Smithsonian already agreed.
All right. Oh, he's going to pass me, okay.
The White House is saying that they're going to take over this, really.
All right. Oh, he's going to pass me, okay.
Is saying that they're going to take over this really creates what feels like a standoff that we might see
Secret Service.
in the next.
Yeah, pass me on the right. All right. That didn't work out for you, did it, buddy? Shit. All right. fucking piece of shit. Alright. Fuck. But nothing really exciting, just people posted doing nothing in places where there's nothing to do. Like I said, it's all smoke and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. All smoke and mirrors. Let's go home now. news and on the internet, we do see other people did get pictures of the National Guard. And from what I can tell from my lack of seeing them and the pictures I've seen, they're really just kind of milling about the place. They're not really doing anything, showing a presence, as I think. I don't know. Is it meant to get a reaction? Meant to inspire people to protest and maybe inspire the protests to turn into riots? Or is it just to appease the base and get their minds off of the Epstein files? I don't know. But I really don't see the National Guard doing that much. And the MPD, the Metro Police, as we've learned in the last couple of days, it's not really federalized. The media is calling it federalized, but all they're doing is the same thing they've been doing since 1971. They are, the feds are asking the MPD, under the chain of command of the mayor, deputy mayor, and the chief of police, to assist with federal crimes and assist with protecting federal property, which nothing's really changed there. As I've been indicating since all this began, I believe it's smoke and mirrors, much ado about nothing. Now, they are claiming there have been dozens, I forget the number, 20-something arrests each night, which is nothing out of the usual. That idiot in the White House press briefing room, she claims murderers, but from what I can tell from the MPD police blotter, no accused murders since the president's announcement. What I saw tonight was one person pulled over and it looks like he was delivering stuff, Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. We'll do our best to keep an eye on this situation, but I don't think we really have a situation. I think we have play acting.